All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. So one of the things that nobody has really been talking about anymore leading up to this 2017 Olympia here in 2 weeks now is Flex Wheeler's comeback to compete in the 2017 Classic Physique Olympia division. So Flex Wheeler, if you don't know, he is making a comeback this year. I believe he is 52 years old. Now, I made a couple videos on this topic when we were maybe 2 or 3 months out from the Olympia. And there's a lot of speculation that he had plenty of time to grow into the show, improve some body parts, and he just had, 8 to 12 weeks to improve upon the package that we were seeing on Instagram. So one of the biggest criticisms kind of levied towards Flex Wheeler was his forearms. And 2 to 3 months out, his forearms did look pretty bad. So one of the things that Flex Wheeler was saying 2 to 3 months out was that his forearms were like hyper responders, and they respond so quickly to training that he wasn't going to start training them until a couple months out, and that's why they look so small, because he hadn't began his training yet. So here we are, 2 weeks out from the Olympia. Flex Wheeler has released plenty of recent photos and videos, and you guys can definitely see that his forearms are still very, very underdeveloped and look very small. So honestly, I am kind of excited to see the package that Flex Wheeler is able to bring at his age. Obviously, Flex Wheeler is, a true legend of the sport of bodybuilding. Do I think it's entirely smart and necessary for him to make this comeback at this point in his life and this point in his career? Probably not. Do I think it's probably safe for his health? Probably not. Do I think he's even going to place at this year's Classic Physique Olympia? Probably not. And I don't say that, to hate on the guy or to be negative, but honestly, in my opinion, I think he's going to be a non-factor in terms of the top 6 of this Classic Physique Olympia. We have not seen his legs, and we're 2 weeks away from the show. And this is basically the exact same situation we saw with Kevin Levrone. He posted a lot of upper body pictures and a lot of stuff going into the Olympia in 2016, but did not show his legs. And we've come to see that when you don't show your legs going into a show, that's probably because they're not looking very good. So one thing that Flex Wheeler has to his advantage is that he doesn't really have to put on the amount of mass that Kevin Levrone had to put on. So according to the IFBB rulebook, Flex Wheeler is 5'9", and for Classic Physique, if you are between 5'8" up to and including 5'9", your weight limit is up to 195 pounds. So he does not have to be very heavy, and he doesn't have to go to the same extremes that Kevin Levrone had to go to make that cutoff. So that's one thing that he has in his advantage, is he doesn't have to put on all this crazy size. Now, some things that I think are working against him, obviously his age 52. So one of the things that, some of these older guys that are competing like Darren Charles and Danny Hester, these guys are in their 50s, yes, and they're placing well at Classic Physique shows, yes, but they never stopped training and they never stopped competing. Flex Wheeler took a long hiatus off of competing. There was a long period of time where he wasn't training. So these are guys like Dexter Jackson, for example. He's in his late 40s. These are guys that have trained and competed all the way through that time frame, rather than taking a hiatus and then coming back at that age and trying to compete again. There's a big difference between those two things. So I think his age combined with the hiatus that he took are two things working against him. Another factor to consider would be all the tattoos he has. His arms are completely covered in tribal tattoos. I believe half his chest, if not his entire chest, is also covered in a tribal tattoo. Now, whether or not we want to admit it, massive tattoos like this that cover entire muscle groups are going to be disadvantageous to the athlete. So there are certain protans that you can wear that'll mask the tattoos a little bit. But for the most part, a tattoo is going to hurt you more than it's going to help you on a bodybuilding stage or a Classic Physique stage. So that's another thing that I think is working against him, as well as his small forearms. I think his legs are also going to be a factor that's going to work against him. So to sum things up, am I excited to see what Flex Wheeler can bring in 2017? Absolutely. I'm excited to see him come back. He's a legend of the sport. But overall, I don't think he's going to be a factor in the placings. I'm more concerned with what guys like Arash Rabar, Chris Bumstead, Breon Ainsley, what guys like this are going to be doing. They're going to be doing some serious damage at the 2017 Classic Physique Olympia. And guys like Flex Wheeler are probably going to be more on the outside looking in. Now that we've seen more recent pictures and we're about 2 weeks out, there's not much improvement that's going to be made from what we've seen on Instagram. I mean, his conditioning might get a little bit better. He might look a little bit crisper, a little bit more vascular. His lines might be a little more defined. But overall, what we're seeing from Flex Wheeler on Instagram right now is pretty much what we're going to see on stage. And we haven't seen the legs at all. So that's one of the things, like I said, is probably going to work against him. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you think Flex Wheeler will place? Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power signing out.